Ah, the temporary vehicle tag, that plain white piece of paper or other material secured in place of the actual plate. Its legitimate purpose is quite straightforward. It allows you to legally drive your newly acquired chariot of joy, or perhaps just a sensible pre-owned hatchback, while you patiently await the arrival of your official state-issued license plates and registration documents. This interim period is designed to be a short, convenient bridge to full compliance with vehicle laws. Think of it as a temporary hall pass for your automobile, a brief, glorious moment of freedom before the full, unavoidable weight of bureaucratic paperwork, which we all secretly adore, fully descends upon you. This simple system is to work. A temporary solution to get you on the road legally and safely, but hold on, because there's a dark side to this papery convenience. Recently, we've seen an alarming, frankly ridiculous explosion in the use of fraudulent temporary tags, particularly those pretending to be from far-flung states you've probably never even considered visiting. Why this sudden surge in automotive deception, you ask? Well, some individuals are trying to cleverly dodge hefty sales taxes on their new vehicle purchase. Others are desperately attempting to avoid paying for mandatory car insurance or skipping those pesky vehicle safety inspections that their beloved rust bucket would undoubtedly fail spectacularly. And then, of course, there are those who use these fake tags as a handy tool to commit other crimes, foolishly hoping an untraceable vehicle grants them a magical cloak of invisibility. The internet, in its infinite, unregulated wisdom, has made acquiring these forgeries easier than ordering a late-night kebab, with countless shady websites happy to print you a convincing-looking piece of pure, unadulterated fiction. Now, why the particular fondness for fake tags? The allure often lies in a misguided belief in perceived anonymity and the naive hope that local law enforcement officers might be less familiar with the specific design intricacies of, say, a temporary tag from Idaho when they're patrolling the mean streets of Philadelphia. These aspiring criminals and fee dodgers imagine a busy police officer glancing at a Sunshine State Express tag in the pouring rain of Seattle and simply shrugging, thinking it's far too much bureaucratic hassle to verify its authenticity. This misguided notion is that geographic distance somehow equals operational discretion. Unfortunately for these paper pirates, police forces are becoming increasingly savvy, and interstate databases are far more connected than these hopefuls realize. That clever out-of-state tag might as well be a giant, illuminated neon sign flashing, "Pull me over, I'm definitely up to no good." And let's be clear, this isn't just a minor issue involving a handful of mischievous chancers trying their luck with a dodgy printer. No, this is a widespread and rapidly growing problem, causing genuine throbbing headaches for authorities and honest, rule-abiding citizens alike. Major metropolitan areas across the country are reporting thousands upon thousands of these phantom vehicles, cruising their streets, contributing significantly to a general atmosphere of lawlessness and making it harder for everyone. Think about it. For every single fake tag proudly displayed, there's a vehicle out there that is potentially uninsured, possibly dangerously unroadworthy, and most certainly not contributing its fair share to road maintenance or vital public services through legally required registration fees. It represents a systemic abuse of trust, and it's expanding, turning our shared roads into an unregulated free-for-all for anyone armed with a basic inkjet printer and a glaring lack of conscience. This isn't just a minor loophole, it's a gaping, festering wound in the system. So, you've managed to acquire your creatively designed temporary tag, perhaps featuring a charmingly pixelated eagle or a state motto you just invented, and you're feeling like a fiscal genius, a true maverick of the motorways. Well, I hate to burst your bubble of self-congratulation, but the law, that pesky old thing, tends to disagree with your assessment, often quite forcefully and expensively. Using a fake temporary tag isn't just a minor administrative oopsie, it is, in most jurisdictions, a criminal offense. Depending on the specific state laws and the audaciousness of your forgery, you could be staring down the barrel of hefty fines. Fines that make the original registration fee you were trying to avoid seem like an absolute pittance, mere pocket change you wouldn't bend over to pick up. Beyond the financial sting, you might find yourself charged with delightful offenses such as displaying fictitious license plates, operating an unregistered motor vehicle, or even the rather more serious crime of forgery. which can easily escalate from a misdemeanor to a felony. Suddenly, that clever saving doesn't seem quite so astute when you're trying to explain your artistic license with state documents to a distinctly unimpressed judge. One of the most immediate and profoundly inconvenient consequences of being caught red-handed with your counterfeit creation is having your vehicle impounded. Yes, that's correct. Your trusty steed, or perhaps your not-so-trusty rust bucket, gets unceremoniously hooked up to a tow truck and hauled away to a secure and invariably very expensive vehicle prison known as an impound lot. Then begins the truly joyous and not at all stressful bureaucratic odyssey of trying to liberate your car. This typically involves paying the initial towing fees, the rapidly accumulating daily storage fees, which accrue with the alarming speed of a loan shark's interest, and, of course, settling all the original fines and resolving the underlying legal predicament that landed you in this mess in the first place. It is a soul-crushing administrative nightmare, seemingly designed to make you fervently wish you'd just gritted your teeth and followed the perfectly reasonable rules from the outset. Enjoy that long, contemplative bus ride home, mulling over your recent life choices. But wait, the fun doesn't stop with just crippling fines and the temporary or sometimes permanent loss of your vehicle. Oh no, the gift of fake tags keeps on giving. Being convicted for the use of fraudulent temporary plates can also lead to a lovely collection of points being added to your driving license, which is absolutely fantastic if you happen to enjoy paying significantly more for things like, say, car insurance. Your insurance company, those well-known paragons of infinite understanding and boundless forgiveness, will likely take an exceptionally dim view of your little foray into document fraud. They might react by jacking up your insurance premiums to truly astronomical levels, making your annual car insurance bill cost more than the actual car itself. Or even better, they could simply cancel your policy altogether, leaving you high, dry, and potentially uninsurable for a considerable period. Good luck explaining that little blemish on your record when you attempt to secure new coverage. Let's consider the hypothetical, yet entirely plausible and frankly quite common cautionary tale of a fellow we'll call Smart Alec. Alec genuinely believed he was outsmarting the entire system by printing a temporary tag for his obnoxiously loud sports car, a tag purportedly from a state he'd only ever seen depicted on a cheap postcard. He zipped around town, feeling incredibly smug and clever until a completely routine traffic stop initiated because his exhaust sounded like a dragon gargling gravel. The attending officer, considerably sharper than Alec had given him credit for, immediately noticed that the temp tag looked suspiciously like it had been printed on someone's slightly malfunctioning home inkjet printer using the cheapest available paper. Fast forward through the legal unpleasantries. Alec's prized car spent a miserable month languishing in the impound lot. He was compelled to pay over $2,000 in assorted fines and fees, and his insurance company dispatched a very polite but firm letter strongly suggesting he seek future coverage from one of their competitors. Alec now cycles everywhere, even in the pouring rain. He has a lot of time to think. When you decide to slap a fake temporary tag on a vehicle, you're often bypassing much more than just a few pesky government fees. You're frequently skipping crucial, legally mandated safety inspections designed to protect you and everyone else on the road. Is that car you just bought as is from some shadowy online marketplace or from a bloke down the pub actually roadworthy? Are the brakes functioning correctly? Or are they one emergency stop away from a catastrophic failure? Are the tyres not dangerously bald and one unseen pothole away from a dramatic and hazardous blowout? Without a legitimate registration process, which in many states includes these vital safety checks, you genuinely have no reliable idea about the mechanical condition of the vehicle you are operating. You're essentially piloting a mystery machine, and the surprise hidden inside could very well be a sudden, catastrophic mechanical failure at 70 miles per hour. This isn't just about trying to save a few quid, it's about not recklessly turning your vehicle into an unguided 2-ton metal missile due to sheer unadulterated negligence and a desire to cut corners. Here's another delightful and unsettling thought to keep you awake at night. That car you got such a great deal on, the one that conveniently came with some very unofficial-looking photocopied temporary tags, well, it might just be stolen property. Yes, really, professional car thieves and criminal organizations absolutely love fake temporary tags because these forgeries make it significantly easier to transport disguise, and ultimately sell stolen vehicles without triggering immediate detection from law enforcement or suspicious buyers. So while you're cruising around town, blissfully unaware and thinking you're the king or queen of clever acquisitions, you could actually be in illegal possession of someone else's stolen property. Just try to imagine the sheer awkwardness of explaining that unfortunate situation to the police when they finally run the vehicle identification number, VIN, during a traffic stop. But officer, the tag looks so authentically papery. Is unlikely to be accepted as a valid legal defense. You could lose the car, forfeit all the money you paid for it, and face serious legal questioning yourself. Furthermore, fake temporary tags are a massive, infuriating impediment to effective law enforcement. When a vehicle displaying these bogus plates is involved in any kind of criminal activity, whether it's a cowardly hit-and-run incident, a brazen daylight robbery, or something even more serious and sinister, it becomes incredibly difficult, sometimes impossible, for police investigators to successfully trace the vehicle and identify its owner or driver. Legitimate license plates are directly linked to comprehensive databases containing registered owner information, current addresses, and detailed vehicle descriptions. Fake tags, by their very nature, lead absolutely nowhere, creating frustrating dead ends for detectives and allowing criminals to essentially vanish into thin air. This deplorable situation allows those with criminal intent to operate with a dangerously inflated sense of impunity, secure in the knowledge that their vehicles are, for all practical purposes, ghosts in the system, thereby making our communities significantly less safe for everyone who isn't a lawbreaker. The unchecked proliferation of fake temporary tags contributes directly to a general and concerning decline in public safety on our nation's roads. An increase in uninspected and potentially unsafe vehicles inevitably means a higher statistical risk of traffic accidents, injuries, and fatalities. More untraceable vehicles on the streets mean that drivers who cause accidents or commit serious traffic violations can more easily evade responsibility, leaving victims without recourse and undermining the very fabric of traffic law. This erodes public trust in the system and creates a profoundly unfair and hazardous environment for law-abiding citizens who diligently follow the rules, properly register their cars, and maintain the required insurance coverage. Now, it's a dangerous domino effect where one person's seemingly harmless act of paper-based deception contributes to a much larger, more serious problem that ultimately affects the safety and well-being of us all, turning our daily commutes into an unpredictable and perilous gamble. Let's talk about the money, shall we? Because, let's be honest, that's often the primary misguided motivator for this entire foolish enterprise of using fake temporary tags. You fondly imagine you're cleverly saving a couple of $100s, maybe a bit more, on registration fees or vehicle taxes by proudly displaying your home-printed or internet-sourced counterfeit tag. Absolutely brilliant. However, when you inevitably get caught, and please believe me, the chances of that happening are significantly higher than you might optimistically think, the ensuing fines can be truly breathtakingly spectacular. We're not talking about a gentle, metaphorical slap on the wrist here. We're discussing substantial financial penalties that can easily run into the thousands of dollars. Suddenly, that original modest fee you were so desperate to dodge looks like an absolute bargain, a pittance you'd gladly pay. The irony is so thick, so palpable, you could probably spread it on toast. It's the financial equivalent of deliberately tripping over a $20 bill in a frantic attempt to pick up a lone penny, only the $20 bill is actually your entire life savings. Now, picture this common scenario. You're involved in a traffic accident. It happens to the best of us. Roads are unpredictable, but crucially, you're driving your vehicle with those dodgy, fake, temporary tags you thought were so ingenious. When you attempt to file an insurance claim for the damages, your insurance company, after conducting a brief and probably quite straightforward investigation, and likely enjoying some hearty, derisive laughter in their legal department, is almost certain to deny your claim outright. Why, you might ask, in feigned innocence? Because you were knowingly operating the vehicle illegally. You fundamentally misrepresented the legal status of your vehicle to them. This denial means you could be held personally and fully liable for all damages and injuries sustained in the accident, both to your own car and property, and to anyone else involved. That minor fender bender could swiftly escalate into a financially ruinous catastrophe, all because of a flimsy, fraudulent piece of paper. Beyond the immediate and often severe direct costs to the unfortunate individual caught using fake tags, there's a much broader, often hidden economic impact on society as a whole. State and local governments lose out on many millions of dollars in legitimate registration fees and vehicle taxes every single year due to this widespread fraud. This is money that would otherwise be allocated towards funding essential public services that benefit everyone, such as crucial road maintenance, endless potholes, the upkeep of our public schools, and the operational budgets of our law enforcement agencies. So, by choosing to use a fake tag, you're not just cheating the system in isolation. You're actively, if indirectly, contributing to the degradation of the very services and infrastructure that everyone in your community relies upon daily. It also creates deeply unfair competition for legitimate car dealerships and private sellers who conscientiously follow all the rules and regulations. It's simply a rotten deal for everyone except the fraudsters themselves. So please listen closely. This is a final, almost desperate plea from us to you. Just get the real, legitimate temporary tags, you absolute muppets. Look, we understand. Bureaucracy can often be intensely annoying and time-consuming. Fees and taxes can sometimes feel like an unfair burden. But the system of vehicle registration, for all its occasional imperfections and frustrations, exists for very important reasons: to ensure public safety, to maintain accountability on our roads, and to help fund vital public infrastructure. Attempting to circumvent this system with a poorly homemade or illegally purchased temporary tag is incredibly short-sighted, demonstrably risky, and ultimately just plain dumb. The potential negative consequences, legal, financial, and personal safety-related, vastly outweigh any fleeting, illusory benefit you might perceive. So please, for the love of all that is wholly sensible and roadworthy, just go through the proper established channels. Get legitimate tags. It's simpler, it's safer, and it certainly won't make you the unfortunate star of a future cautionary tale we broadcast to the nation.